Hello, yes, it is I again. It is Chromemagnus. Okay, I promised this was coming. I promised I was going to do a World of Darkness setting review. Um, yeah. So here it comes, but when I thought about it, it suddenly occurred to me that I've really not actually managed to play a huge amount of the World of Darkness. So, to be honest, I don't want to say too much because this could actually be, a little bit biased. I'm not really talking from experience, and if I'm not careful, I could be talking straight out my backside. So, take this as very much a novice's impression, okay? That being said, I have played a few games with the older World of Darkness system, that is to say, literally a few years back, about maybe 5 years ago, which was strictly Vampire the Masquerade, as it was then known then. So, yeah, okay, so this is my talk about it. This is going to possibly deteriorate into a talk about White Wolf, because as playing with their systems lately, particularly with Exalted, which I suppose, it's the second system White Wolf really does. It's the second big system, but it's probably also their niche system. Regardless of which, the World of Darkness. The World of Darkness. Now, just before I go on to the setting review, I don't know if you can see that. In fact, yeah, can you see? You can't see very well on the camera. Word of advice: never, ever lend a book to your mates. It came back in horrible repair. I'm the sort of person, if I have this book down on this table like so, and it's a book I actually quite like, I'm not the kind of guy who's just going to sort of, I'm not going to just swivel the book round. I'm actually going to turn the table round if I want the book to face the other way so it won't get scuffed. That's how I treat my books. I treat them with respect. Word yo. And, yeah, so the fact that it came back in such appalling condition, I'm very, very pissed off about. Anywho, that's beside the point. The World of Darkness has been published by White Wolf in many different formats. But more than anything, the World of Darkness is a setting upon which you place other settings. In effect, basically, it is the World of Darkness setting as it is at the moment. The new World of Darkness it's like a darker mirror of our own world. So what do I mean? The house down the street where the reclusive woman lives. In the World of Darkness, there physically is a spirit there. Maybe a murder took place, and they're sort of like echoes of that emotion that's still hanging over and tainting the feeling of everywhere around it. And the reclusive shopkeeper, the shopkeeper down the road has got a slight twitch to his eye sort of thing. In actual fact, there's something really sinister going on. He might be trafficking something. So you see what I'm talking about. Basically, the World of Darkness highlights all these little discrepancies in our world, and it sort of translates them onto this plane of horror. It is supposed to be a horror game at its core. It's supposed to be, not dramatic horror, but yeah. So that's the sort of idea. I think, to be honest, you can make of it what you will. I know for a fact that when some people have done it with me, they've really role-played the game. So they've really sort of run the game as a sort of a dramatic, in-your-face bloodfest. Which personally, I don't find that horrible. I just find that gory. And there are others, of course, run it a bit more Cthulhu-esque, although that's not quite as easy as it could be. Who it's kind of like a psychological build-up, and it keeps building. And finally, when the tension snaps, it's an "oh shit" moment, if you pardon my French. God, they get such a bad press with that phrase, don't they? Anyway, but now, as the World of Darkness stands at the minute, as a setting, as I say, there's a lot in. It really draws on this world very heavily, but as a setting in and of itself, the actual core book will give you the rules needed to play a mortal, i.e. a standard human. Most people won't do that. Most people will jump straight into something like Vampire the Requiem. There we go. And, they'll start to roleplay one of the more supernatural elements. And to be honest with you, from what I've seen of other games of this type, that's a shame, right? One of the real things about horror is that you're not you're not insane, and this is what Cthulhu really captures, is that in Cthulhu, you will if it's done properly, you will be a person, an everyday person. You might be a journalist, a photographer, maybe you could be a police officer. But the point is, you'd be an everyday. You could even be a businessman. You'd be an everyday person thrust into a completely arsey-versey set of events, and it's how do you survive? And it's like, oh my god, I'm not supposed to be here, but I am, so what the hell do I do now? And that's what Cthulhu really captures, but by playing directly through, obviously starting as a vampire, as a werewolf, or whatever's good, it's very good, but, there's something to be said for playing the little man in the big world. Having said that, so I've just completely lost my train of thought. World of Darkness, as I was saying. So it gives you the rules to play as mortals in this world, and essentially, in some ways, I don't find this easy because I probably do live in my own little fantasy world, and I don't really pay a huge amount of attention to what's going on outside with me at the minute, because quite frankly, like I said, as I mentioned before, and I keep mentioning, so just forget it, but I'm under the weather. I really couldn't give a toss about the real world. I don't want to. This is the other reason why I roleplay. I need to escape, because that's just the way that's just, how I feel in terms of how well I am. I come to you with these videos sounding completely upbeat, but yeah. Anyway, so, I find it difficult to actually put together a setting in the real world, which is crazy. But it does afford players who want to the ability to play in areas that they know and really twist the details about. And I think you can really freak your friends out with that. Actually, when you actually just completely throw the whole thing out of focus. Anyway, as I was saying, there are several. As I was saying before. Oh god, what's wrong with me today? There are settings. It's a setting over which you throw other settings. So as I said, Vampire the Requiem gives you the template. Basically, you create your mortal character first, and then you throw over a supernatural template. In this case, Vampire. Or we have, I believe, one of my Captain Machine's little favourites. We have Werewolf the Forsaken. And of course, I also own, and this is the one that I'm particularly interested in, Mage the Awakening, which is a beautiful little book, actually. The webcam doesn't do it justice. Anyway, so there are also, I believe, there's also Hunter the Vigil, basically where you're playing as a witch hunter. By witch hunter is a very broad term in anything supernatural. You stake it. Think Van Helsing, or as I like to think of it, Hunter the idiotic fascist, because they're stupid. I mean, they're probably going to die. Anyway, there are also, so in other words, the three I've listed here, the three I actually own, are probably what you call White Wolf's premiere settings. They're the settings that most people will play and know about. You also have, in the new World of Darkness, Changeling the Lost, which is where you play a group of humans who have actually been taken to the... I'll come to this in my Mage review, because there are actually several different planes of existence, and one of which is the supernal plane. Think of it a bit like heaven, but not. Okay? I think... basically, humans have been taken by the Fey creatures of the realm of Arcadia. I think it's Arcadia. In fact, it is Arcadia, yes. And essentially, they've been taken and enslaved, and actually, they've been turned into something else. And, Changing the Lost is how they come back to Earth, manage to sort of, thwart their immortal sort of slavers and whatnot, and actually exist with a very changed point of view. You've also got Prometheus the Created, which is very much Frankenstein's monster kind of thing, which really doesn't interest me. And the two other games I know of that are in the older World of Darkness but have yet to be translated were, and the names I'm not quite sure of, so we'll just go with Wraith the Dirty Linen, Mummy the Dirty Linen, and Wraith the Bedsheet. So, that's about it. Wraith actually sounds very interesting, but I don't know much about it, so I won't go into it. Anywho, as I thought it might do, this is going to run into a two-parter, because quite frankly, given the Deadlands thing, which I thought lacked a lot, and Captain Machine, you rock. Thank you for adding that about Deadlands. That is awesome. I mean, that's exactly what the community is about, isn't it? Filling in for other people and just so people can get the overall gist. I mean, thank you very much, mate. So anyway, being unconstrained as I now am, I'm going to scoot over into part 2, and I'll catch you later. Won't be a mo.